Hello and welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today. And we are on our second card for the wonderful stamp set Gathering Moments. Now, if you saw my video on Monday, you will see I introduced you to this beautiful stamp set with its 8 images and 5 sentiments. So today I actually want to introduce you to the beautiful papers that you can get with this suite. So they are very autumnal. They've got some wonderful autumnal colours in them. So you've got crushed curry, beige, early espresso, Cajun craze and old olive. And you'll find all of these colours in these papers. So let's have a look, see what we've got. So we've got this one, which is the reverse of this one. Then you've got this, which is the reverse, and this one is the reverse. They are so beautiful. So you've got this beautiful paper here, which has got the nice plain brown on the side. Let's bring these down a bit so you might be able to see them. And that one, which is the reverse. These colours are very rich and very autumnal. And just shout out fantastic cards. So they're the papers, and we're going to be using that in our card today. So as I said, this is the card we're going to create. This large image in the back here is one of the dies, and the images here 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 have all got dies with them as well. You can probably hear Bella in the background, so I apologize. She's just deciding to pace the floor as I press the camera. She's been asleep most of the time, and now all of a sudden she's walking. Hey ho. Right, so I have got early espresso, which measures 8 inches by 5 3/4. I have a piece of crushed curry, which measures 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. And this is a piece of the beautiful designer series paper. That measures 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. I have a piece of white cardstock to stamp my images on, and I've also got a piece of old olive to cut out my 2-inch, oh, there we go, my 2-inch circle. And I've also cut out a white circle that is from the new 1 7/8 circle. So again, it just gives you that nice border around the edge. Right, so the first thing we need to do is to stamp out our images. Oh, one other thing, sorry. I've also got a very large piece of crushed curry so that we can cut out our image. So we're using this, I think it's a maple leaf, very beautiful maple leaf, and you'll run it through the cut and emboss machine, and it comes out looking like this. Okay, so that's one of the main focals. So let's go back to this piece and we can start stamping out the images. So I have got old olive, and I'm just going to stamp this out. I'm going to do probably 2 of each. There we go, that's that one. I'm only doing 1 of the Cajun craze. There we go. Cajun craze. Then I'm going to do the beige, basic beige, for the other leaf. Now it does look green when you stamp it out, but it dries quite beige colour really, which is always handy. And then I've got the mushrooms, and I'm going to stamp out 2 of those. 1, 2, and I'm doing that in the early espresso. So bring out your dies, and as I say, run them all through. All of those have got dies. Run them through the cut and emboss machine, and they will come out looking like these. As you can see, they come out quite beige. There's my mushrooms, green, oops, and the greenery, 2 of those, and the mushroom. Now I've got my white circle and my green. So what I'm going to do is I want to put the sentiment on my white circle, and I'm using the Happy Birthday, which came from the Long Time No See stamp set, and I'm going to stamp that quite far down in the early espresso. Let's do that. Okay, as far down as we can without it going over the edge, obviously. So there we are, we have the Happy Birthday. Now normally I start from the top down, but for this particular card we're going to work in reverse. I'm going to move all of those over to there, and you'll see why in a second. So I haven't scored this, so I'm actually going to score it at the 4-inch mark, or of course you could fold it. Okay, so let's do 4 inches. Perfect. Okay, I still don't seem to have found my bone folder. I'm not quite sure where it's gone, so I'm just going to use this large block, and then I'm going to stick my yellow or my crushed curry down using the multi-purpose glue. Come on, I know you're in there. Okay, maybe you're not today. Let's just lean across and grab the other one. It's always the way. Actually, this one's going to come out like nobody's business. There we go. Right, so that's the crushed curry. I was just checking I'd layered it in the right direction. It doesn't matter at this time, but once you start putting everything else on top, if your card's opening the wrong way, it's never a good look. Right, now I'm going to layer my designer series paper. And I'm using my Stampin' Seal for that. Again, I'm going to make it level down. Okay, and then I've got my very large leaf. So you're going to need to tip that slightly so that it fits on the double page. Right, and I'm just going to sprinkle some glue on it. Dot glue. Don't really want it to be oozing, but there's plenty of spaces that you can add the glue to. And let's go there. Perfect. Okay, so the next thing to do is to add my Happy Birthday onto the green background. So let's do that. There we are. Put that down. Now this is going up on dimensionals, but I'm only going to do it on the bottom half so that I can tuck the leaves behind the sentiment. Okie dokie. Take those off. Perfect. Right, so let's put that there. Now I'm going to add my, as I say, we're doing this backwards. I'm going to add my mushrooms onto here. So I'm probably going to tuck them in like that, but I'm going to put them on dimensionals. So let's do that. Knotted them. Get a dimensional to go over the 2. Like so. And then one on either side. There we are. Now obviously I want these to go over the top of the circle, but I don't want them to cover up the Happy Birthday sign. So there we are. There. And now what I can do is I can slip all the other leaves behind just using the multi-purpose. So a dab of glue on the bottom, like so. Be my focal piece, and I can go up to there. Then I've got my 2 greens. That's one this way. And then one the other side way. Come on. There we are. And then I'm going to have one of those down the middle. That'll go there. And I've got one more which could just go, let's have a look. There. Can I put it in down there? No. No. Okay, maybe I'm just going to leave that and we'll just stick it with that. It could always go down on the side. Let's have a look. Right, so make sure they're stuck down. A bit of pressure there to keep those down into place. And that literally is today's card. Really, really quick. And as you can see, great fun to create with just a few bits of designer series paper and the cutouts. So thank you very much for joining me today. I will be back on Friday for a funky fold that you won't want to miss. So join me then. Thanks ever so much. Bye.